Shalom. I'm gonna call this I was defenseless. So in my youth, I used to get bullied and had a lot of abuse, physical abuse going on towards me. And so people say that, that my memory and my discussions are a little bit, I guess, exhaustive, as if, you talk about this a lot. But then even people try to tell me that my conversation and what I'm talking about is exaggerated. And I'm like, wow. Because a lot of times people that were involved with the situation don't remember it the same. And I'm like, well, listen to what they say. Oh, we were trying to make you tough. So you acknowledge that you were doing something to me that I might not have been in approval of. You were imposing your will on me, and though you didn't see it as harmful towards me, I viewed it as harmful. What you were doing, you felt like was to help me, but I didn't see it that way. So my take on it basically is not the right take majority of the times. And I'm not saying this like, this is not coming about to attack anybody, because I love everybody that I've dealt with if I'm still dealing with them. I'm just saying, a lot of times I've never got to talk about what has happened to me to the person. And so a lot of times, yes, I'm venting because my memories or my dreams, they bring up fresh what was old. And then it's a matter of fact that a lot of times things around the same calendar time that these things happen, basically they come back up to me. It don't just be Facebook memories and stuff like that. It'd be my dreams, it'd be lifetime. Because basically when I was going through drama in my first marriage, almost every year during my anniversary of that marriage, way after I was divorced, something was going on in my life. And a lot of times it would be due to something that was going on with my ex-wife, as far as in court or whatever, but it was always something happening during that period of time. So October 29th, I try to, make something happen so that I don't get triggered by that day. Because, that day, a lot has happened, court-wise and everything. And so, okay. I'm a big dude now. I ain't got to worry about being bullied. I'm not defenseless because I learned to defend myself, but I'm not used to anybody ever defending me. I became a union rep because the union wouldn't defend me, so I stepped in that role and I began defending myself and defending others. Not a union rep anymore. I left that company, but I know how to defend myself. And I do know how to defend others, but I'm not really in the habit of having people defend me. When I was accused of SA, it was no evidence, nothing. And a lot of people believed it. But then when the evidence came out that exonerated me, nobody wanted to discuss it or talk about it. And I'm like, wow. And of course that changed my mode of operation and stuff because, I hug men, hug women, hug people. Physical touch is one of my love languages. But I had to restrain from that because I didn't want to have false accusations against me. As a child, I was abused. So I was accused of being, an abuser. And I'm like, wow. But yet, there are no bruises on the person. Nothing. And they say, well, you can hide that or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm substantially bigger than this person. If I did all of that they said that I done, there would be some evidence of it. But the thing is, they were the one abusing me. And because I'm so big, me defending myself, if I was to harm them, of course, I'm the one that's probably going to jail. So I would hold them, lock doors, whatever, did everything to not be abused. But who could I complain to? Because if I tell anybody about it, which I told relatives and stuff like that, and of course, it was a couple of them that said, well, I'll handle it. But I'm like, nah, don't do that. But they're like, come on, you lying. Nobody wanted to believe that. The police definitely didn't want to believe it. Yo, big self, you called, I was told to call the police. And if I would have called the police on that woman, I would have been the one laughing, stocking, and I'm probably would have been the one went to jail. I fought that case and won. Had to hire an attorney. Yes, a lot of stuff people don't know about me, but I won that case. They put me on probation for a year or whatever and stuff like that. And, even though I won the case or whatever, because I was not finna plead to something that I did not do. I've been accused of so much different stuff. I've been accused of, having racial issues with people or, and I'm like, huh? And I'm like, these same people have seen me with my relatives that are of the other ethnicities. I'm like, come on. You see how much I love these people, and yet you still want to put this out there and lie. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, man, the people who know my family, know the dynamics of my family, to know that I have plenty of blended type of family situations. And I'm like, you gonna believe that bull crap? I don't like animals. I don't like children. I'm like, huh? I don't like people with alternative lifestyles, and I'm like, okay. I got relatives that do same sex or whatever, stuff like that. No, my faith says that is what was considered a sin, but I've never mistreated anybody because of that. Never in my adulthood. When I was a child, I might have said some stuff. We used to joke and stuff like that. I got joked on and I would joke back. But I've never in my adulthood did any of that. But of course, I got to defend myself, because people who should know my character, I'm like, the people that say I'm stubborn and all out, that oh man, you ain't gonna never change. And I'm like, well, if you saying I ain't gonna never change, certain stuff that I don't do, why are you willing to accept and hear those things if you saying I never change? I ain't never done nothing like that. You've been around me. It's amazing how many people can live life with you and still I don't want no parts of it. It's a lot of times that I've been involved in situations and people that know all of the information, and they say, well, I don't want to choose a side, and they could tell me in their own personal time, oh, you were right, but they don't want to step up for me. But as soon as they get into something similar, they want, hey man, could you come help me out with this? And I'm like, wow, but you didn't help me out. And of course, me being me, I help people out even when they don't help me out. I don't do the tit for tat or whatever. And I should expect some reciprocity. I should expect that. But I'm like, I just believe in the truth. And of course, I believe in defending people. I've learned to defend myself. I was one that was not defended. People didn't cover me. And and I do have some. I can't say that blanketly, because some of the people that cover me, like Mr. Johnson, he covered me. When he passed, that I grieved something hard, But of course, in that, his son didn't like it or whatever and stuff, and that ruined that friendship or whatever and stuff like that. But I still love that person, even though I know, I'm a domino kicked out of their life or whatever and stuff like that. It is what it is. I have a lot of past hurts that, no, I'm not healed. I'm still wounded from these things, but they don't stop me from having joy. If anybody that's around me, when we fellowship, anybody that's around me, see me with my wife, you for you to say that I'm always depressed or whatever, come on, you're not telling the truth. Many people have seen me in my joyous moments, but most people only want to fixate and remember my grievous moments. And they said, well, that's all you remember is your grievous moments. And I'm like, that's not true. If you see how much that I praise my wife in our relationship, how much I talk about food and stuff like that, how much I talk about my children, you're not telling the truth. But again, I'm defending myself. Shalom.